The toilet gurgled, a low, guttural churn that echoed off the bathroom tiles, swallowing the glint of gold as it spiraled down the drain. My wife's wedding ring, our ring, vanished with a final mocking slurp. "It's cheap anyway," Sarah spat, her voice sharp as broken glass, her eyes not meeting mine as she leaned against the sink, arms crossed. The air in our cramped apartment bathroom thickened, heavy with the scent of her lavender shampoo and something sour, like regret. I stood frozen in the doorway, my pulse hammering in my ears, the weight of her words sinking deeper than the ring ever could. It wasn't the act itself, though that stung like a slap. It was the way she said it, casual, as if our 12 years together were as disposable as the tissue she'd tossed aside. I wanted to scream, to demand why, but my throat tightened, strangling the words. Instead, I stared at the empty toilet bowl, its porcelain gleaming under the fluorescent light, mocking my stunned silence. How had we gotten here? When did the woman who once cried over a chipped teacup start throwing away promises? The signs had been there, hadn't they? Subtle at first, like cracks in a foundation you only notice when the walls start to lean. Her late nights at the office, the phone angled just out of view, the way her laugh sounded different, sharper, like it belonged to someone else. I'd brushed it off, told myself it was stress, that her promotion demanded more of her than I could understand. But last week, when I found a man's scarf in her car, navy blue and smelling of cedar cologne, my stomach twisted. "It's a co-worker's," she'd said, her smile too quick, her fingers fidgeting with her necklace. I wanted to believe her. God, I did. Now, standing in the bathroom, her defiance burned away my doubts. "Sarah," I managed, my voice low, trembling with something between rage and heartbreak. "What the hell was that?" She turned, her hazel eyes flashing with a mix of guilt and challenge. "What do you want me to say, Tom? That I'm sorry. It's just a ring." Her words were a knife, twisting deeper with every syllable. She stepped closer, her bare feet silent on the cold tile, her voice softening but not kind. "You're overreacting." Overreacting. The word echoed in my skull, a cruel dismissal of the life we'd built, the late-night talks, the vacations we couldn't afford, the miscarriage we'd grieved together. I wanted to shake her, to make her see the wreckage she was causing, but instead I backed away, my hands shaking. "Who is he?" I asked, the question slipping out before I could stop it. Her face froze just for a second, but it was enough. A flicker of panic, then a mask of indifference. "There's no one," she said too fast, her fingers brushing her hair behind her ear, a tell I'd known since our first date. My chest tightened, as if the air had been sucked out of the room. I turned and walked out, her voice trailing after me. "Tom, don't do this." The living room felt alien, the couch we'd picked out together now a stranger's furniture. Her scarf, his scarf, lay draped over the armrest, a silent accusation. I grabbed it, the wool ruff against my palms, and inhaled that damn cedar scent. My knees buckled, and I sank onto the couch, clutching the scarf like evidence in a trial I wasn't ready to face. Memories flooded me. Sarah's laugh at our wedding, her hand squeezing mine during the vows, the way she'd hum off-key in the shower. Was it all a lie? Or had I missed something, some failure of mine that pushed her away? I don't know how long I sat there, the apartment silent except for the distant hum of traffic outside. Sarah stayed in the bathroom, the door shut, a barrier between us. My phone buzzed on the coffee table, a text from her best friend, Claire. "Call me. It's important." My thumb hovered over the screen, dread pooling in my gut. Claire knew something. She always had. When I called, her voice was hushed, urgent. "Tom, I didn't want to get involved, but she's been seeing someone. 4 months." The words hit like a punch, knocking the air from my lungs. Claire's voice cracked as she continued, spilling details I didn't want to hear. Late-night meetings, a man named David, a hotel receipt she'd found. "I thought she'd stop," Claire whispered. "I thought she loved you." I hung up, my vision blurring. The apartment felt too small, the walls closing in. I stumbled to the kitchen, grabbed the whiskey bottle from the cabinet, and poured a shot, the burn doing nothing to dull the ache. Sarah emerged, her face pale, her eyes red-rimmed. You called Claire, she said, not a question. I nodded, unable to speak. She sank into a chair, her hands twisting in her lap. It wasn't supposed to happen like this, she murmured, her voice breaking. I didn't mean to hurt you. Then why? I croaked, the whiskey glass cold against my palm. Why flush the ring? Why him? She looked away, her jaw tight. I don't know, she said, but her voice wavered, a lie she couldn't sell. David, he made me feel seen. Like I wasn't just fading. The word cut deeper than the betrayal. Had I made her feel invisible? Had I been too caught up in my own routine, work, bills, the grind, to notice her slipping away? Guilt clawed at me, but anger surged stronger. You could have talked to me, I said, my voice rising. Instead, you threw us away. I didn't, she started, but I cut her off, standing, my hands clenched. Get out, I said, the words foreign in my mouth. Her eyes widened, but I didn't waver. I'm changing the locks tomorrow. She stood, trembling, and for a moment I thought she'd fight, beg, explain. But she just nodded, grabbed her coat and walked out, the door clicking shut with a finality that echoed the toilet's flush. I sank to the floor, the scarf still in my hands, and let the tears come, hot and bitter. The next morning I called a locksmith, my hands steady but my heart in pieces. As he worked, I found a note tucked under a coffee mug. I'm sorry, Tom. I lost myself. Maybe we both did. No signature, just her handwriting, looping and familiar. I crumpled it, but didn't throw it away. Instead, I sat by the window, watching the street below, waiting for a car that never came, wondering if love could drown as easily as a ring.